Happy Hump Day, everyone. Happy Hump Day. Yes, we are on that day anyway. Everything just comes to you know, a little bit of a slowdown because it is indeed Wednesday of the 25th of the month, the 25th of the year. 25th day of of the year. That's 25, chapter 365, chapter 25, verse 360. You know what? I'll find that out once and for all. But yes, we are on that today and we're here. We're happy to be alive. Listen, yesterday I had a hard night. Where? Whatever the weather is, like it's when mosquitoes decide, they just decide. Like literally, I slapped myself like 500 times last night. I was like, what is going on? Why can't I just be left to sleep? I am so tired. It was a literal war. And you know the worst thing is those tinies, those little tiny little ones, the ones that just can't bite you and let you sleep. Can they just be like mice or is it rats that bite you and then pull it out on your whatever they're biting on so that you just, you don't realize they're biting you because first they have to make too much noise, then they bite you and it's painful, and then you have to scratch yourself. It's a whole headache, it's a whole fight. Like, listen, I felt like I was going to war last night. It was too much. Like, why you have to be like this, Nairobi? Why? My girl lives in Nakuru, and she's like, listen, me, I don't know what you're talking about. Me, I never experienced anything like that. In fact, we sleep with the windows open. Like, what I would live to be able to do that. Like, what I would be able to do with the windows open at night. Jeez, man. Anyway, that's my rant of the day. Let's get straight into the weather in Nairobi. Mostly cloudy, 20 degrees, humidity at 64%. It looks like it's going to be nice and pleasant. Not too hot, not too cold in Nairobi. And in Mombasa, partly sunny, 26 degrees, humidity at 78%. And hey, way Mombasa, you guys have decided today. I know somebody's going there today. So pambana na hali yako, because it's going to highs of 34 degrees. When it hits 1 p.m. 34 degrees. I think that is a new high for me. Where that is gonna be hot. And in Kisumu, partly sunny at 20 degrees, and it looks like it's gonna be also hot by the time it hits 3 p.m. Up to highs of 32 degrees. But remember, no matter the weather, no matter where you are, no matter the weather, you'll always have a great day with Icon Radio. Right. As I try to get over my speech because I'm here talking like a cartoon character. Let's get back into the music and get started on that throwback therapy. Let's go. From the East Coast to the West Coast to the dirty South. Hey, I see how we're starting off this morning. Loving that law school vibe right here on your number one entertainment plug. This is Icon Radio. I'm your girl, Myra, Maloba, the Afro-Punk Queen, right here on the Breakfast Jam. You can always tune in on www.iconradio.co.ke. Also on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/ at Icon Radio KE. Remember to hit that subscribe button and show us some love. Of course, like our videos and comment to any of the conversations. You could also comment on +254 788 That is our WhatsApp number. And of course, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can just follow and like as well over there. My personal socials are Nyara Fox, Twitter at Maloba, and I will follow back. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Hashtags to use are the Breakfast Jam, Afropunk Queen, Icon Radio, and Icon Radio KE. All right, let's get straight into the news, making the headlines today. Now, the sun has unfortunately set on the late Mr. Professor Magoha. And it was unfortunate news that we got yesterday. And of course, the entire world is reeling because, you never expect to either wake up or sleep to news like that. But it would seem that he suffered from a cardiac arrest while at the Nairobi hospital. He was being treated and he passed on from there. It also has been revealed that, his brother, who he was planning for burial, also passed away while abroad, and he was in the process of being brought here for the burial, and Professor Magoha was in the midst of all of the planning as well. So devastating news. It's really sad start of this year like this, right? Now, Magoha, the buffalo, towering giant who eliminated its stupid eyes from exams. Yeah. Now, the devastating and sudden death of Professor George Magoha comes at a time when he has commissioned a book to document his achievements at the Education Ministry, where he had served for 3 years. It was as if he had a premonition that his time was nigh and that he needed to put down his writing, in writing his experiences and accomplishments in the education sector, where he had made a splendid record. Now, talking to the press last week, Professor Magoha intimated that he did not want to exit the scene before documenting his experiences, especially in managing the education sector under COVID and implementing the competency-based curriculum (CBC), which became his pet subject. Now, accordingly, one of the proposed working titles of the book was Weathering the Storm, How He Managed Education Sector Under COVID. He had put together all the notes, and writing was to commence soon after burying his younger brother, Professor Richard Magoha, who died in the US and was to be buried this coming weekend. Now, the book was to be a sequel to the earlier title, Tower of the Transformational Leadership, published by the East African Educational Publishers publication in 2017, which chronicled his journey from Gem to Tare Boys Center and to Nigeria, where he studied medicine, and later to the University of Nairobi, where he rose from an assistant lecturer to vice chancellor. Now, a professor of medicine, Magoha arguably goes down as one of the most effective education ministers of all time. He took over the education ministry at a time when the sector was going through rapid and tumultuous reforms. And we here at the Breakfast Jam are with our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Professor Magoha. It's a double tragedy that he also lost his younger brother, and now they have to prepare for 2 funerals and 2 burials. We are definitely praying for your strength and comfort at this time. May Professor Magoha rest in peace. All right, now in Kisumu County, it seems that there is trouble for John Pesa over church prisoners. We were talking again about this with my girl. Big shout out to Lucy, who put me onto this story. And lo and behold, Here it is. So, unfortunately, John Pesa, unfortunately, has been put under the microscope, and the county government of Kisumu has sued Holy Ghost Coptic Church of Kenya founder, Father John Jimo Pesa, and is charged for holding 23 mentally ill patients in deplorable conditions. Now, remember when I was talking about this, I think was on Monday, and she told me, listen, when you check into that church, it's highly probable you might not check out. Now, not only for the fact that, you might be deemed mentally ill and need extreme prayers, but also you might catch the eye of this certain pastor and he might decide you might become one of his congregants, if not his wife. All right. In the petition, the County Department of Public Health has listed the Holy Ghost Coptic Church of Kenya administration, Father Pesa, the church director, and family members of the detainees as first, second, third, and fourth defendants, respectively. In the application dated January 20th, 2023, filed under the certificate of urgency, the County Department of Health accused Father Pesa of contravening the Public Health Act Cap 242 and Food, Drugs, and Chemical Substances Act Cap 254 laws of Kenya. Now, Father Pesa, who was present in court, as well as tens of his loyal congregants who accompanied him, appeared before Winham Court's senior principal magistrate Fatuma Rashid. Now, the church, however, argued that it was served. Sorry, the petition a few hours before coming to court, and therefore needed time to respond. He added that the natural law principle should apply and he requested for another date. He also requested for the status quo to remain. However, Mr. Wycliffe Owor, the chief public health officer who represented the county in court, said that the case was urgent owing to the situation of the affected people that were in this particular church. Now, the senior principal magistrate considered the arguments of the two parties and said that as much as the situation is dire, the defendants have the right to be heard. Now, please do not take my word for it in terms of the wife issue. It's alleged. Let's say it's alleged that you walk in and don't walk out. But clearly there is a case being stated against this particular church leader. And they are starting to look into it. And when the state starts to look into something and the word has been put out there, they're like a dog with a bone, and they might not settle until this is finally done and justice for whoever has been affected has been served. So let's see how this plays out. All right. Now, before we go into the break, there has been a case of a lot of gonya coming out of IEBC and being traded between Azimio leaders. A lot of words are coming out of Chebukati, who is now spilling all the tea, all of it. And it's like, listen, I got bribed, my friend. I was told to do a runoff, if not guarantee the candidate this, that, and the other. He is telling it all, and I'm here for it. Now, Chebukati says that Tuju offered to bribe IEBC commissioners to block Ruto's victory. Now, former IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati yesterday narrated how Azimio Executive Director Raphael Tuju offered to bribe IEBC commissioners to block President William Ruto's victory. Now, Mr. Chebukati claimed that the former Rarieda MP offered the monetary reward should the commissioners accept to moderate the presidential results in favor of Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga, or at worst force a rerun. Now, appearing before the Justice Agre Muchilele led tribunal at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, Mr. Chebukati recounted how Mr. Tuju made his way to the Bomas of Kenya and the holding room where he was sleeping in the wee hours of the morning and invited with the offer. He told the tribunal that the former cabinet secretary was without portfolio woke him up at 3 a.m. on August 15, 2022, saying he was visiting on behalf of Azimio and wanted to discuss tallying and the ongoing process. Mr. Chebukati said Mr. Tuju was accompanied by former Busia Senator Amos Wako and advocate Chalo Mbobu, who, however, only the former two spoke during the meeting. However, pressed by the tribunal to reveal the details of the monetary reward where it was to come from. Mr. Chebukati said he did not encourage him to expound on the reward. On the other hand, Mr. Wako asked the commission to put the interests of the country and look to the bigger picture, pushing them to announce a particular candidate, in this case, Mr. Odinga, a request he said their side of the divide rejected. Nonetheless, he claimed that the Chair 4 urged them to consider the sentiments by the senior citizens on moderating results in favor of Mr. Odinga or forcing a runoff. The four commissioners left no doubt that they wanted to subvert the will of the people, which is an offense in the Penal Code and Election Offense Act. Now, he said the electoral agency has been working well, diligently, and following the law and laid down procedures with commissioners having cordial relationships up until August 15th. Woo! This is playing out. This is playing out. Like we're watching Olivia Pope all over again and all the scandals that is happening. So it's a he said, she said kind of situation. Remember, Mr. Tuju also came out last year with evidence that he purported that could have been happening behind closed doors as the process was happening. And there's just been a lot of these things being traded back and forth. I am personally, again, here for it just to see, what kind of tea they'll be spilling on each other and kind of just revealing things as the war continues between both the war of words continue between both functions. All right, guys, let us go into the music. When we come back, we'll be looking at the last bit of news as we look at a murder plot that hailed all the way from Canada. Kanye West right there with All Falls Down. Selena Johnson also doing her thing with her voice. Absolutely, absolutely loved that track. Look at me still talking like a cartoon character. Just bear with me. But thank you so much for tuning in. I just loved how Kanye used to just tell the truth right as it is. He talks about crack for your head and crack for your body, and the white man is, benefiting off of all of that. Ah, man, his rhymes are so dope. But at the same time, he's just spitting truth, spitting truth. Absolutely crazy how things have turned out for him. But yes, we need some more good music from the good music company that is Kanye West. All right. Big shout out to Mzing Classic. Says I'm tuned in from Kitale. Pro George Magoa rest Professor rather George Magoa rest in peace. Indeed, indeed, indeed. We celebrate him today and forever for the mark he made in our education system. All right, let's look at this mother plot turned crazy. It's just been just a whole turn of events, and this is in regards to Lucy and Jerry. Now, Lucy and Jerry, I think it was the tail end of last year, the beginning of this year is when her story came out, and she alleged that her husband was trying to take her out using hitmen. But the hitmen took the money apparently from the husband, and this is what the husband is saying, and ran off. The husband also claims that the hitman who was hired was having an affair with the wife. Yeesh. Now, it will now appear that the Canadian government are also now stepping in. First, with Edwin Chiloba, it was the American government. And now, with this murder plot, is the Canadian government. A lot of collaborations with embassies and governments who are coming in to cases that are trying to be solved here in Kenya. Now, the Canadian government has stepped in to investigate claims of an alleged plot to kill Miss Lucy Njeri, who holds dual citizenship, after she accused her husband, Mr. Nelson Dereba, of hiring hitmen to kill her in November last year. Now, the Canadian High Commission in Nairobi said it's aware of the case and is in contact with local authorities to gather additional information and provide consular assistance to Miss Njeri before she jets back to Toronto, where she works as a nurse. Now, on January 16, 2023, Nairobi became aware via local media that the subject was a victim of a murder attempt orchestrated by her husband, possibly in Canada. Now, the husband would have paid a Kenyan hitman to kill the subject and dispose of her body in Kenya before following her arrival, rather, in the country. Now, since Miss Njeri is a possible victim of assault, the High Commission declined to disclose further details about the matter. In this case, investigations by Canada will revolve around the alleged plot that was purportedly hatched on its soil, even though its alleged execution would take place thousands of miles away in Kenya. So here it is. They're saying, listen, checking in, we're stepping in because it was something that was, formulated, it was planned on ourselves. So therefore, we have to investigate because this is citizens who are living in our country. So we need to know whether a crime was indeed committed. Now, Miss Njeri, who after running as a professional athlete for 15 years, studied nursing and joined the University Health Network, the largest health research organization in Canada. And yesterday, that she told the press that she was waiting for the outcome of an investigation into her claims. She says, "I've never been living in fear, but I am certain the government will give me protection. I wanted to go back to continue doing what I love, which is helping people, and I've already obtained restraining orders against him." Ms. Njeri has accused Mr. Dereba of hiring hitmen to kill her, claims that he has denied. Mr. Dereba claimed he only hired the two men in question to pick her up from the airport. He said the men duped Ms. Njeri on the murder plot to extort her. He further admits to the contents of a WhatsApp conference call that reportedly has him instructing a man known as Swale on the killing and dumping of the body, but insists the conversation was edited by Swale. It is not a true account of their full conversation, including a third person. Ms. Jerry said to go back to work in Canada, but says she will not step foot in the house she lived with her estranged husband. Ooh. Right. That is how the cookie crumbles as this year gets started. It has started off with a lot of problems and turmoil. Huh. And hoping that 2023 just turns out in a different way because the way it has started is pelekaing us mbio mbio sana. All right, guys, let us go straight into the top of the hour as we show love for the 254. We're all about that Kenyan music. And today is all about that Wellness Wednesdays where we talk about you and your health. So keep it right here. And of course, at 9 a.m., send in your requests. My lines are open, and that's plus 254 788 Anything goes. Anything goes. All you have to do is let me know. one artist who could do no wrong in my eyes. That was Red Sun. Absolutely amazing way to start off this hour. As we show love for the 254, I'm your girl Myra Maloba, the Afropunk Queen, right here at Icon Radio Studios. It is a breakfast jam where we do it Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this hump day. All right, let's take a quick look at the weather. Mostly cloudy going into 9 a.m. in Nairobi. And it's still at 20 degrees, humidity at 64%. Nice day looking out for you guys. In Mombasa, 28 degrees, mostly sunny. Like I told you, when it hits 1 p.m., 34 degrees. It's gonna get hot, guys. Very, very hot. And in Kisumu, 22 degrees. Humidity at 64% is going to get up to highs of 32 degrees. Going to get hot as well by the time it hits 3 p.m. But remember, no matter where you are, no matter the weather, you'll always have a great day with Icon Radio. All right, when we come back, we're all about that Wellness Wednesdays, and we'll be looking at your sexual health. Please, yes, believe it or not, your sexual health contributes to your mental health and your well-being. And I'm going to be highlighting all about it right after this music. So keep it here and remember to get to the conversation on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com / at Icon Radio KE. Our WhatsApp number +254 788 380030. Jaguar and the great Shaki with Furaha right there. My throwbacks for your Wednesday morning as you go into the middle of that week. It's that hump day. And I'll be telling you later on what a hump day actually means because a lot of guys say it, but they're just like they don't really know the meaning and they actually translate it in their own ways. So I'll be sharing with you later what exactly hump day means. But for today and for now, we're talking about your sexual health and how to resolve the problem of bad sex in your relationship. It could actually be a very big problem and not only lead to stress in your home, but to other aspects of your life. So it's very important to talk about. And I know a lot of us still shy away from the topic because we're trying to be conservative, but that conservativeness leads to a lot of breaking relationships and homes and marriages. Now, bad sex in relationships is more common than people admit. In almost all cases, the man is usually at fault, quote unquote. According to Laurie Watson, the author of Wanting Sex Again, reasons for this could be what is seen as selfishness on the man's part, where he gets too excited to reach his climax at the expense of his partner's satisfaction. Lack of foreplay and poor bedroom hygiene also contributes to bad sex. But it could also be that the woman does not think highly of sexual intercourse. According to Watson, these factors create friction in your relationship. So these are the things you need to address because not only on the onus of the man, but it's also on the onus of the woman. Now, inadequacy. Men who feel inadequate in the bedroom often assume it is because their genitals are too small. On the other hand, women who feel sexually unwanted feel their physical appearance is not appealing. In an age where private parts are used as a weapon of attack on womanhood, they may be afraid that they are not well toned or are abnormally elastic down there. This is more common if they catch their partners cheating. These fears ultimately degenerate into feelings of being sexually unwanted. Both men and women want to feel wanted and desired, especially in the bedroom. Absence stems a fear that they are no longer attractive. This leads to doubts about their prowess and performance in the bedroom, says family therapist Lawrence Kibiro. Let me tell you that the theories around, both male and female parts are usually sometimes just overthought and totally out there. The solution sometimes it's just there. All you have to do is learn your partner and just get away from those issues of inadequacy because I think we talked about this with Jambi of the Real Housewives last year. There's no such thing as elasticity, my friend. Okay? As in after you give birth, everything returns back to normal. The woman's body is made to do that. There's nothing like at your rubbish. Also for men in the same way. Listen, and this is all a mind game for you guys. If you think it's all about, I have small days, blah, 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 it's all in how you study your person to be able to get what you both want out of your sexual relationship. Now, rekindling the flames is another thing you need to address. If you are reeling from past unpleasant sexual experiences in your relationship, such as lame performance, psychologist Dr. Chris Hart says start by thinking about the times in your past when you enjoyed sex with your partner. Imagine things you might do in the future. Revisit places you want when sex was steamy between the two of you. You'll soon start getting interested again. Additionally, have an agreeable bedtime routine when you can both tuck in bed. Learn to sleep naked and cuddle a lot because couples who do are far less likely to have problems with intimacy. Wise words over there. Something you just never really thought about and be like, this could actually help towards the intimacy in your relationship. All right, I'll be taking a look at one more thing before we go on the break. Now, the other question that you need to address, does he or she want it more than you? Now, couples who feel they're getting enough sex are usually happy with their partners. Dr. Hart says those who feel they're not getting enough sex within their relationships are more likely to start watching porn or to stray. Contrary to popular belief, not all men want sex more than women. This means that you should both strive to prioritize each other's sexual needs with time, energy, and money. Cultivate a receptive desire to say yes to your to your partner's sexual advances, even when you're not in the mood, and let your arousal spark the desire. One of the reasons you might have had problems with the frequency in your sex life could be due to the kind of sex you have been having. For many women, the problem is that you are not is not that you are is that you are not satisfied with the sex you're having, and will very likely avoid it altogether, said Dr. Deborah Anapol, a relationship coach and the author of the Natural Laws of Love. So yes, another tip that has been mentioned here, even when you're not in the mood, because that usually happens a lot, especially like after you've probably given birth, or you feel like you're too tired and you're not yani in that place yet. They're advising try and get in the mood for the sake of your relationship. Because again, when you are not right over there, it spills over to other factors. And let me tell you, when you Nyima somebody it harbors that resentment harbors a lot, and again it spills into other factors of your relationship. It could spill into your financial planning. It could spill into decisions you need to make for the home. It could spill into even the hygiene of your bedroom. There's so many factors that could lead to you not just being openly sexual with your partner and having a healthy sexual relationship. All right, we'll look more into other things that you need to address when we come back. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think usually leads to the decline of sexual health in a relationship, and how can you make it better? What have you done to improve your sexual relationship with your partner? Hit me up on my WhatsApp number. That's +254 as well as the comment section there on YouTube. That's youtube.com/at icon radio KE. And let's chop it up. This was one production that came together perfectly. That was Compe by Bamboo. And of course, we had Mandugu Digi on the beat, the bounce beat. Absolutely loved that track. Still love it still now. It's always a banger as we show love for the 254 right here on the Breakfast Jam. All right, guys, we're taking a look at your sexual health on this Wellness Wednesdays. And we are looking at how to resolve the problem of bad sex in your relationship. And we addressed a few things earlier, like the issues of inadequacy, rekindling the flames, and then kind of trying to figure out if your partner wants it more than you. The next thing we're looking at is the morning after. Now, your sexual activities should not be bygones once they occur. Use them as learning tools to improve your experiences or ignite your mood. For example, talking about sex is nearly as enticing as having sex, and men like such conversations. Make it a point to talk about your last experience, especially the morning after. Now, I don't think all women find it easy to actually just, kind of like have that conversation. Some women tend to be very, very coy about it, especially, the, 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 the texting. sexting is usually not easy to do. A lot of women have that I've come across are like, how do you get started? How do you start just, sexting with somebody and making them feel good out of it or making yourself feel good out of it? Most of the times, I don't know, a lot of people feel weird. But of course, kind of like, giving each other a pat on the back the next day, talking about each other's prowess after having a sexual encounter the night before could actually make it exciting for the next time. So give that person that 5 star, that 10 star, and say, yes, you're that guy, or you did that, lady. Yes, always have the conversation and give each other that props when you've had your sexual encounters the morning after. It really does help. Now, the other thing is keeping selfishness at bay. Now, Berit Brogard, the author of Unromantic Love, says, do not act selfishly during intercourse. One partner should not feel they are always doing the hard tasks. There are styles that are selfish and men oriented in the way they are publicized. Avoid them if you don't want to end up feeling unappreciated. Now, it's good to do your research. Like I told you, learn your partner, learn what they would like, both male and female. It's not only male centered, it's also for the females as well. Talk about it. Find out what they would like to explore. It also have a safe word if sometimes it goes past what you would be comfortable with. But of course, just talk about the things that you would like to explore, things that you would like to be explored, and also just do your research on new things that you can do and discover around each other. It could actually just be fun instead of a task. Don't make it like it's a job. Don't make it like it's a thing like I have to do to keep my marriage. No, do it as a way to also have your own self gratification. Be happy with the relationship that you're in and be in a fulfilling and healthy sexual relationship. Because, like I told you, if you don't have that, it spills out into other aspects of your life. When somebody comes to the office angry all the time, that's probably because okay, they're not having, and usually you have people around you having those slurs of, uyu, uya kupata jana. And it's just because, again, you're just not happy. And just being sexually fulfilled could actually bring a lot of happiness in your life. So aim to do that this 2023. Aim to have a very happy and healthy sexual life. And of course, practice it safely because you do hear around these streets a lot of problems like super gonorrhea. So be safe while you're doing it, but also be happy. All right. Guys, I would still love to hear as we go into the next hour what you do to maintain a happy and healthy sexual life. Hit me up on that youtube.com // at Icon Radio KE. And of course, our WhatsApp number, that's +254 788 380030. All right. Remember at 9 a.m. we are taking your requests. That is Total Requests Live. All you have to do is hit me up on that number and of course that YouTube channel or any comment section on our socials, and I'll be sure to play for you what you would like to hear. You control, you take over the playlist. Just let me know and we'll have that for you. And remember also, it's Dancehall Wednesdays, so for sure we're gonna be whining and grinding in our seats. So buckle up and stay tuned for that as we go on with the Breakfast Jam this morning. heading straight into that dance hall Wednesdays. That was Vibes Cartel Go Wine right here on the Breakfast Jam as we are in the last hour of the show where it's all about your requests. All you have to do is let me know what you'd like to get played and I'll play it right for you. That's on +254-788-838-0030. And of course, on any of the Icon Radio KE social platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. YouTube, we are live on youtube.com/Icon Radio KE, as well as on www.iconradio.co.ke. Of course, you can follow, and I'll follow back on Nyar Fox on Instagram, Twitter at Maloba. And yes, use the hashtags. That is the Breakfast Jam, Icon Radio K, and the Afro Punk Queen. For sure, if you use those ones, we'll find you and chop it up quick, fast. Yes, guys, we are into that hour where we are all about that gonya, gonya, gonya. Where we're all about all the things that are happening in the world of entertainment. Of course, just strange and bizarre news that could be taking place around the world. But before that, we get into the weather at
under the blood. Jesus cover me under the blood. Under the blood, me say me under the blood. Jesus, you be cover me under the blood. In the morning when me wake up, and the blood that Jesus me take up. And when me feel like me, I go break up. Put the blood on me face just like a makeup. Christian a fight some things with them not see. Stronghold demons and principality. My body at the temple, keep it holy, sanctified, justify, give God the glory. Fighting against three terrible enemy. The world, Satan and myself against me. Want the anointing, pour it on me and make me trample the devil on it. Say, under the blood. Under the blood. Under the blood.
Listen, that's a church I'm going to for sure. Under the blood, under the blood. Absolutely love it. Let me tell you, this guy has been trending all week. I was like, okay, let me wait until Friday to unleash this one. We were talking about the memes of the week, but I couldn't wait because it's such a vibe. You have TikTokers and Instagrammers all over just remixing the video and getting down for Jesus, man. Getting down for Jesus. It reminds me of an artist called Papa San. Please look for Papa San over there. I think we have Papa San over there, Kelvin. I'll look for the name of the song, but yes, look for Papa San. It reminds me of Papa San. Even the sound just sounds like Papa San. He was big, absolutely huge during the late 90s and early 2000s. We used to rock up those Christian concerts like mad. And now this just reminds me of this, and it's such a good way to praise on a Sunday morning. A lot of guys were feeling the vibe. And we're just like, somebody said, I'm a dude and I won't lie. I'll twerk to this for the Lord. Another one said, first of all, his voice. I'm like, yes, that voice. It sounds so dope. This guy should have been a recording artist long time ago. Another one said, tithe and wine now. Tithe and wine. I'm with it 100%. All right, away from that, let's take a look at some of the news. Entertainment news making the headlines today. Now, Chameleon breaks silence after beating Boda Boda driver in viral video. Now, we have celebrities behaving very, very badly right now. And Uganda's famous and controversial musician, Jose Chameleon, has not been one of the people who have been behaving well. He received for whipping a Boda Boda rider last week. The singer, who spoke to the Ugandan media yesterday ahead of his concert, said that he respected Boda Boda riders. However, there are bad people in every business. How dare he? We need to just say no. Now we need to change a few things in the border industry, he noted before going further to praise a certain Boda Boda company that was sponsoring the event. He says, I thank Safe Border for sponsoring the event, for respecting your job. Now, first of all, he's just clearly coming out to say this because, one, he has an event. Two, he needs to look good in front of the public. Three, he has a sponsor in the name of Safe Border who left us and went to Uganda. But Safe Border are sponsoring the event. So, of course, he has to save face. Other than that, I don't think he would have said anything. He said he, however, relayed his regret at the way he had handled himself, but said that he and the rider were both human. I'm not an angel, and the border man is also not an angel. Chameleon had earlier on released a statement using his public relations team, saying he hit the border rider in self-defense and apologized to fans. He also alleged that the rider had damaged the left side of his Range Rover. The incident is unfortunate. It could have been avoided. Such incidents will be handled better, read the statement. Chameleon has been under the cosh ever since the viral video made the rounds online this past weekend. Even his own wife, Danielle Atim, demanded justice for the Boda Boda rider who was hit by the singer, adding that there should be no tolerance for violence. There is no tolerance for violence, Atim wrote on Instagram, captioning a painting that read, "Violence will not be tolerated." That's not all. Even the police have been asked to launch a probe into the matter. the Kajansi Division Police Commander Komakech and the officer in charge of CID in the area were directed to trace the rider in order to record a statement. A police spokesperson explained that even the rider might have knocked out Chameleon's Range Rover Sport, he should have reported the case at Kajansi Police Station and not taken the law into his own hands. Even the wife has said, bad manners. See your life. What are you doing? How do you embarrass us and our family like that? It is indeed bad manners. It is indeed a thing of you thinking that you are entitled to somebody else. And yes, whoever might be on the wrong, there are rules of law to be followed. Report the case or have dialogue where you can sort this out. But because this guy hits your Range Rover, you decide you're going to put hands and put your paws on the man. Nah. That does not work anywhere in the world. Neither does it work that you remove a half-hearted apology because you have to save face for your event. For that, you are not a good person, Chameleon, and you are definitely not an icon for that. All right, guys, let us get back into the music. We'll be back right after this. We're all about that whining, Tyson wine, right here on the Breakfast Jam on this Dancehall Wednesday.
this.
We are indeed all about the dancehall. Wednesdays our Shaggy with Heathens. Big classic right there playing on the Breakfast Jam. I'm your girl Myra Maloba, the Afro Punk Queen. And we are taking a look at the entertainment news that's making the headlines today. Now, Rose Muhando, Kase's producer for poor quality music video.
How fast do we hear of this?
Yes, so apparently gospel singer Rose Muhando has called out a producer for releasing a poor quality music video. Rose, in an interview with Mshondeville in Tanzania, recounted how the long journey to having a music video ended disastrously for her.
Are you playing?
Hiya. What is the problem here? Now, the singer has claimed that the man behind the terrible video of the song has done it to please her enemies. She said, Sirigani nyumba ya pazia. Nani ame kushauru ufanye hili jambo haya hivi. Listen, first of all, I'm reading in Swa. I listened to Pops yesterday. We're not too far off. Okay, leave me alone. Now, in a viral clip on TikTok, courtesy of Skinny, now Muhando cries out that the director took advantage of her because of the genre of her music. Nimetumia gharama kubwa kushoot hii video. Kumbuka mimi ni mtu wa gospel, sina pesa. Hey. Those are big claims. She further adds, lakini namuomba Mungu namuomba Mungu wangu anipe pesa kwa ajili kufanya kazi kubwa kwa ajili ya kazi yake. Unanitolea video mbaya, video nyeusi, watu hawaonekani hata sura, haina hata mwanga, haina hata mwanga. Please, you guys, I'll post this later so you can read it because, first of all, just leave me alone, okay? Now, Rose cries loudly that even a phone camera can take better quality videos. She feels that she had praised them for a beautiful song and promised to have a video that would showcase the song very well. The Nimbebe singer placed a curse on him, sharing, Mungu hata atakuacha salama. Hey, I will leave it there. She has said, you will not be left alone in peace. This is not going to end well for you. And definitely, this is not going to end here. She added, hii dhambi haitakuacha salama nyinyi. She says that she will bring the whole Watua gospel weight out on him, and she has cast him out kweli kweli. She added that this time around, the gospel industry will rise and challenge those who take advantage of gospel singers to milk them of their hard-earned cash. She pointed out that film and music directors never mistreat secular artists like this. The music video was shot over a period of 2 months, and only for the edited version to come out terribly.
Jesus is Lord.
Hey, this is not gonna end well for that particular music director for sure. Hellfire shall reign. All right, guys, let's get back into the music. And when we come back, we'll be ending off the show. Remember, you have a few more minutes to send in your requests and let me know what you'd like to play. Thank you so much. Angela Kungu says, good morning, Icon Radio. Such a loss to a great man. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Kindly play It Is Well in My Soul as we mourn the loss of Professor George Magoha. For sure, it is a big loss that has been felt across Kenya and, of course, indeed across the world, because he did leave a mark in Nigeria as well. And for those who have traveled around the world and have been under his tutelage or under his leadership, have felt it as well. And our hearts go out to everybody who has been affected by his passing, and we are definitely with you in thoughts and prayers here at the Breakfast Jam. All right, guys, let's get back into your requests and keep it here for more. What a classic jam right there. It absolutely takes me back. Egyptian with Butterfly. Love it, love it, love it. It makes you just feel nice and light inside. And that's how we are almost ending the Dancehall Wednesdays today morning. Because thank you guys so much for tuning in and weighing in. Definitely a lot of thoughts and prayers are going out to the family of the late Professor George Magoha. A lot of tributes are being flying out, not only on our pages, but also celebrities and, of course, members of the government who have just been paying tribute to this great, great man. It is indeed a sad day for Kenya. Yes, but other than that, we are just finishing off with the last bit of entertainment news. Let me tell you, if there's one person I look at, he always just leaves me like this. Speechless. Absolutely speechless. I'm like, what is going on with Eric Omondi? Like, he has come out in the public, as in deciding to go and travel to Uganda in a full-on synthetic, whatever you want to call it, body filled, a body filled with, what is this? Hair. So I don't know if he's trying to mimic a gorilla suit or he's making a statement. I honestly don't get it, but he is literally covered in synthetic hair and from shoulder to toe, and he's carrying a briefcase that is covered in that same hair. Very, very, very nappy looking synthetic hair. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And my only question is, who allows him onto flights like this? Unless maybe he's taking private charter or he's taking a private jet, then sour. But who even allows him into the airport like this? Like, what is going on? I don't get it. Like, make the math. The math is not mathing. Please make me understand. E is not equals MC squared in this particular. I don't understand what's happening. So definitely he's out here doing his thing. He's come out in garbage bags. He's come out in, full on bandage suits. And now he is here covered in hair. First of all, that looks itchy as all hell. If you're there on YouTube, we put the picture over there. You need to see it. It looks super itchy. First of all, me with my dreads, I'm just like, every time I just want to tie them up. Can you imagine now a man in a full hair suit? How he must be feeling, how hot it must be under there. And then he's carrying a full-on hair briefcase to go with it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm telling you, every time I just remain speechless. But hey, he grabs the attention of people. Wera, do your thing. Make your money. I am not hating in any way. I just don't get it. All right, guys, let us leave it at that. And of course, I gotta go. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and weighing in. We'll be back again tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're all about that breakfast jam and throwback therapy. I've been your girl, Myra Maloba. Stand by for tonight's show with Tanika J, aka Auntie, who is coming in with the international DJ Perez. And they're going to be chopping it up and talking about how it is or how you can make it to be an international DJ. And she'll also be doing a part 2 of her topic for last week. That is Know Your Worth. So between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., tune in to Let's Talk About It with the one and only Auntie, where she gives you straight tea and straight with no filters. Right. We'll see you again tomorrow. Keep it on www.iconradio.com. Keep it on www.iconradio.co.ke for more great Kenyan music coming your way. See you tomorrow.